Gwenpool and the power of breaking the fourth wall in comics. Gwenpool is one of the most unique and fascinating characters in modern comics, not just because she's funny or wacky, but because her entire existence revolves around the nature of storytelling itself. Unlike Deadpool, who breaks the fourth wall primarily for jokes, Gwenpool actively manipulates the comic book medium, bending reality to her will, yet still struggling with the existential dread of being a fictional character. But why does fourth wall breaking work so well in comics? And why does Gwenpool stand out compared to other self-aware characters like Deadpool or She-Hulk? To answer this, we need to explore her origins, storytelling mechanics, themes, and impact on comic book narratives. Gwenpool's origin, from meme to Marvel icon. Gwenpool's very creation is a meta-story in itself. She wasn't originally planned as a full-fledged character. In 2015, Marvel released a series of Deadpool-themed variant covers, including one featuring Gwen Stacy dressed as Deadpool. The cover was meant to be a fun joke, but fans immediately latched onto it, demanding more. Marvel responded by introducing Gwenpool in Howard the Duck #1, 2015, where she was portrayed as a real-world comic book fan who found herself inside the Marvel Universe. Due to her popularity, she received her own series, The Unbelievable Gwenpool, 2016 to 2018, written by Christopher Hastings with art by Guri-Hairu. Her rapid evolution from fanservice gag to full-fledged character mirrors the unpredictable way fandom and internet culture influence modern storytelling. Gwenpool wasn't created through traditional means, she was born from audience enthusiasm and meme culture, making her one of the most modern superheroes in Marvel's roster. 2. Breaking the fourth wall, not just a gimmick, but a superpower. The concept of breaking the fourth wall, where a character acknowledges they're in a fictional story, has been used in comics for decades. But Gwenpool takes this idea further than almost any other character, treating it as a literal superpower rather than just a joke. 1. Manipulating comic panels and storytelling mechanics. Gwenpool doesn't just talk to the reader, she interacts with the physical structure of comics in ways no other Marvel character does. She jumps between comic panels to dodge attacks, essentially cheating the narrative. She erases speech bubbles or draws over scenes to change reality. She enters the gutters, the blank spaces between panels, to escape from trouble or manipulate time. One of the most mind-blowing sequences in her solo series involves Gwen realizing that if she steps outside the panel borders, she can literally see ahead in the story, giving her an advantage over enemies who are still trapped within the linear constraints of the plot. 2. The difference between Gwenpool, Deadpool, and She-Hulk. Gwenpool is often compared to Deadpool because they both break the fourth wall, but there's a major difference. Deadpool knows he's in a comic, but he doesn't manipulate the medium itself. His fourth wall breaking is mostly used for comedy and self-awareness rather than plot progression. She-Hulk, in the John Byrne era, often spoke to the audience and even argued with the writer, but she didn't alter the narrative structure the way Gwen does. Gwenpool, on the other hand, directly interacts with the world's mechanics, bending the rules of storytelling itself. This distinction is crucial. Gwen isn't just aware of being in a comic. She is actively playing with the mechanics of fiction, which raises deeper questions about free will, narrative control, and what it means to be a character in a pre-written world. 3. Existential crisis. What happens when you know you're fictional? While Gwenpool's powers make her an exciting and unpredictable character, they also come with one of the most terrifying existential dilemmas in comics. 1. The fear of being forgotten or cancelled. Unlike Spider-Man or Captain America, Gwenpool doesn't have a deep history or a permanent place in Marvel continuity. She is acutely aware that she is a new character and that if readers lose interest in her, she could be erased forever. This leads to one of the most heartbreaking realizations in the series: if a background character isn't important to the plot, they disappear entirely. If a comic book character doesn't get sales, their series gets cancelled, and they cease to exist. For Gwen, this isn't just a metaphor, it's a literal threat to her life. She isn't afraid of death in the traditional sense, she's afraid of being erased by Marvel editorial. 2. Can a fictional character fight for relevance? Gwen spends much of her series trying to make herself important enough to avoid cancellation. She forces herself into major fights, teams up with bigger characters like Spider-Man and the Avengers, and even pleads with the comics writers and editors to keep her around. This raises fascinating questions about what it means to be a main character. Can a comic book character determine their own destiny, or are they trapped by what the writers and readers demand? Is Gwen truly a free-thinking individual, or is she just reacting to the expectations of fans? What happens to a character when they are no longer being read? Do they simply fade into non-existence? 4. Gwenpool as a metaphor for fandom and modern storytelling. Beyond her unique powers and existential crisis, Gwenpool is also a symbol of modern fandom culture. 1. The ultimate comic book fan. Gwen represents every comic book reader who has ever fantasized about being inside the Marvel Universe. She knows every superhero's powers, weaknesses, and backstories because she's read about them. But once she enters the Marvel Universe, she realizes that it isn't as fun as she imagined. Things are real, dangerous, and unpredictable. This parallels how fandom works in real life. Readers love certain characters and wish they could change storylines, but they don't always consider the consequences of altering established narratives. Gwenpool embodies this tension between fan engagement and the creative control of storytelling. So, what do you think? Does Gwenpool deserve a comeback? And what's your favorite fourth wall breaking moment in comics? Let's talk in the comments. And if you love deep dives into characters like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because here at African Reads Comics, we bring you the craziest, deepest, and most mind-blowing comic book content every week. See you in the next one. 2. Internet culture and meme-driven popularity. Gwenpool's entire existence is a product of internet culture. She was born from a joke cover, gained popularity through online demand, and became a real character because of fan enthusiasm. This reflects the way modern entertainment is evolving. Characters no longer have to come from traditional origins. Social media and memes can shape the direction of a franchise. A strong fanbase can influence whether a character gets more stories or fades away. The future of Gwenpool. What's next? Since the unbelievable Gwenpool ended, Gwen has appeared in West Coast Avengers and MODOK Head Games, but she hasn't had another major solo series. 1. Can she come back? A new Gwenpool series would need to address her greatest challenge: how does a character who is aware of her own cancellation fight for survival in an industry where comic books are constantly rebooted? What happens when the fourth wall breaking character acknowledges that comics themselves are declining in popularity? Could she explore other fictional mediums, like jumping from comics to movies or video games? Given her ability to bend reality, she could even become the first Marvel character to literally cross over into real life, acknowledging Marvel Studios, Disney, and the entertainment industry as a whole. 6. Conclusion. Why Gwenpool is a game-changer in comics. Gwenpool is more than just a quirky, fourth-wall breaking character. She is a deconstruction of comic book storytelling itself. Her power isn't super strength or flight, it's the ability to reshape the very nature of fiction. She challenges the boundaries of storytelling, raises questions about character agency, and serves as a mirror to the modern fandom experience. Whether or not she returns in a major way, Gwenpool remains one of the most fascinating, self-aware, and thought-provoking characters in Marvel Comics today.